Did the trimming make a difference? So I just want to address this monkey in the room. It's an elephant. Yeah, okay.
Tell me say one thing, Nancy, if you understand.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Maria Alexis, and we talk locks, health and wellness, and black liberation right here on the channel. So if you're new and any of those things interest you, go ahead and click subscribe, and we're just gonna jump right into it. So today's video is a Q&A about locks, my locks in particular, and my experience with locks in the past 6 years. If you missed my 6-year anniversary upload, go ahead and go here. I always point to the wrong direction, so I'm just go ahead and cover my bases. Maybe it's here. Click here or here for my last upload, and then come back and join us right here on this video. So let's get into it, shall we? The very first question is, do I experience thinning? What I think of thinning is when your lock is running from your scalp and basically like breaking and thinning at the root. I'm not experiencing that, so we are all clear on that front. My locks have been thicker in previous years than they are now, and I think you can see through the succession of my growth how like my locks were really thick on I want to say year 2, year 3, and then they slowly started to like get a little smaller, thinner, and like the diameter of my lock size, they started to shrink a little bit. So I don't know if that's considered thinning to you. I don't think I consider it to me. It just kind of got small. I don't know, maybe. Short answer to that question is I don't think so. But over the years, I did notice that my locks got smaller in diameter size. Now, I don't know what that means. I think it's just the beauty of locks and how they like breathe, honestly, life, right? Like they kind of swell up and then shrink in. So maybe not thinning. Who knows? This is from my cousin, and it was not a question. She was just like, just wanted to say you are too gorgeous for these internets. I appreciate you, Nades. I appreciate you. Love you, girlfriend. The next question is, did the trimming make a difference? So I just want to address this monkey in the room. It's an elephant. Yeah, okay. Cutting my locks, big chopping my locks, really, and what that was all about. I think there's a little controversy, and then I might have created that in my head too. I think a lot of people kind of were questioning, like, why would you even cut your locks? What is a big chop for locks? Like, who does that? Like, the beauty of locks is to have them like do whatever they want. So I decided that I wanted to cut them so that I can make them even. After I trim my locks, I realized that the length that my locks are at right now and the trimmed length is where I want my locks to stay. A beautiful thing also that I noticed after I trimmed my locks was washing them. I didn't feel like it was super heavy. Going into the beach water or going into the pool, coming back up, I didn't feel like I was being dragged by the Loch Ness monster in the water. It was just what's the opposite of submerge? It was a beautiful like come up, you know what I'm saying? Like my head just feels so light, and I feel like I got like just rid of weight. So the reason why I trimmed my locks was because I wanted evenness. That was it. The benefits I received were those that I just mentioned, and honestly, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. Only thing I kind of do regret about cutting my locks is 2 things. The first thing would be the spiritual connection into like not cutting your locks. So it's so funny to me. After I posted that video that I cut my locks, my uncle sent me this like reggae song about like why it's so important not to cut your locks spiritually. And I was like, dang, hey, I shouldn't have done that. I kept my locks, so they're in a bag. But I was like, dang, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because there is power in our hair. I just didn't want to feel like I disconnected or like, you know what I'm saying? Felt like that for a little while. But then I'm like, but I didn't cut off all my locks, and I didn't cut them at the root. that just gives me some ability to feel at ease. The second reason why I would regret it is because you just can't, now you'll never be able to see like how much my hair has grown over the past 6 years because I cut them, you know what I'm saying? Or like you'll never see like year 7, it'll probably look like year 5 in regards to growth, because you know what I'm saying? Now I'll never have like a true sense of like how long my hair grew from starter locks to present day, because I kind of put a jab in it. Next question. Have I had to combine any locks? I combined 2 locks and that was it. And so I think there's such a huge significance about my locks and about my personal journey, because it's amazing how my locks equal to 111 locks. Like, if you're into numerology and signs of in that nature, like that's super significant, and that's not by accident. So I don't know, but yes, I've only combined 2 locks, which have successfully combined, and there's no double-headed dragon that I had for years. How long does maintenance take? Like daily wash day and root maintenance? Depends. It depends on what I'm doing to my hair. Typically between 3 hours and 5 hours is how long it takes me to do my hair. 3 hours if I'm just retwisting at the root and I'm not like doing any double strand twist or lock knots or any type of style. I'm just retwisting. It'll take me about 3 hours. If I'm doing some sort of style like double strand, 2-strand twist or lock knots or something like that, it's gonna take me a lot longer, almost 5 hours, and that's from start to finish. Do I self-maintain or go to a salon? Majority of my lock experience has been self-maintained. There are pockets of like going to a salon, and that may just be for like super important events, or sometimes I'm just lazy, or whatever the case is. But I would say 90% of the time I'm taking care of my own locks. Do I prefer to wear it down or up in styles? I am a updo type of girl, but I do need to let my hair down a little bit. Like, you know, like loose naturals, anybody will tell you that you shouldn't always put your hair up because it'll start to like thin out in the middle. So I need to relax, but if I had to choose, I'm getting these babies out the way. The next question is, how long does it take to dry, and how to prevent moisture issues like mold and fungus? Okay, so my hair does not take long to dry at all. And I think it's kind of interesting, but I think 3 hours is a solid amount of time that my hair actually takes to dry, and that is air dry. If I'm using a dryer, I'd say an hour and a half to fully dry, like from the inside out. That's how long it takes. So the way you prevent mold or fungus or things like that is really making sure, if you're air drying, that you're air drying properly. And I made a video on that. Go ahead and watch that, and I kind of go into more detail about how you should prevent any moisture buildup that will lead to fungus or mold. Have you felt your hair is heavy as it gets longer? Yes, it does. Now that I've cut it though, I've alleviated myself of feeling like that. But the only time it feels heavy, or like you can notice a big change in weight, is when your hair is soaking wet. So if you're swimming or if you're washing your hair, that's when you'll really notice like the heaviness of your hair. And the longer it gets, the heavier it gets. Next question is, have you ever switched maintenance methods? So palm rolling, interlocking, crochet, and what's my favorite? Honestly, the Joy Edit really did that with these questions. I tried all of them. I have tried all of them. And just retwisting at the root has been my go-to. I have tried palm rolling every now and again. Palm rolling is faster, okay? But that's the only reason why I would palm roll. I tried interlocking maybe 2 times just in the front of my locks, just to extend the longevity of a retwist, but I hated the feeling of how like it pulled on my scalp. So stopped doing that. So I would say I've tried the gamut, but what has been tried and true has been just retwisting at the root, and not necessarily palm rolling, but just retwisting at the root. Did your hair influence the number of locks, like your scalp density, thickness, curl pattern, etc.? Absolutely. I think that's what creates the uniqueness of anybody's locks, is their hair type and the pattern, curl pattern, and the thickness and density of your hair. So like, I always use this example, like when I was loose natural, this side of my hair was always more full. I don't remember which side, whatever side was always more full and vibrant. Even when like I got perms, you could see it. Like this side would be like full with the curls, this side would be like in my locks. And how that translated into my locks is I noticed that this side of my locks were very lackluster, not like full. This would be like really full, especially when they're starter locks and they're like puffy and full. This one would give me like no matter what method you use, if you use diamond parting, square parting, it all comes down to your hair type. And I think that's so beautiful. Like your locks will never look like mine, and my locks will never look like yours, and that's so beautiful. And I think that's the beauty of locks. Like it's all down to your unique hair type. So next question is, have I ever colored my locks? And y'all know, about every 6 months, yes, your girl colors her locks. And the color that I use, or the brand that I use, is Nature Tint, and it's a brown black color. Now, I don't do it for the grays, but it is nice to see these grays go away sometimes, because girl, I'm 28 years old. Why am I more grayed up than my grandmother? Oh, you can kind of see some of the brown that comes through. That's my natural hair color, but the darkness that you see is not necessarily fully naturally my hair color. So I do color my locks on a regimen. Last question is do I ever miss my loose natural hair? And she said, I'm scared I'll miss my fro. Listen, girl from Rim, I do miss my tapered cut. I tell you, that was a prime time in my life. Okay, I felt so cute with my tapered cut. I miss the style. That I do miss. Now let me tell you something. Okay? I do not miss loose natural hair, because what that means is having to twist up my hair every night. Get me out. Don't want no parts. Don't want it. Can't do it. I miss it for my taper cut. But outside of that, give me my locks any day, because I am not, no. And honestly, I'll say this to you, right? Like, if you feel like you'll miss your fro, and let's say you start your locks, and you get into year 1, and you're like, dang, I really miss like running my hands through my hair, then you and your locks have reached completion. Like that season of your life has reached completion. And I think that's also beautiful phase to have gone through. Whatever lesson that you needed to learn with your locks at that point, you've hopefully learned it. But don't be so tied down into like attaching yourself into like, I think I may miss my loose natural hair, and so therefore it stops you from making a decision, versus okay, making the decision and being okay that right now you feel good about having your locks, and that you can appreciate your locks. And if whatever happens or whatever comes to be, I kind of chop it up to like, we plan and God laughs kind of thing. So do what you want to do for like right now. Make a decision that if that's something that you want to do, if locking your hair is something that has been constantly mulling over into your head, like your mind keeps going back to that, I think there's a good reason why. And I would just follow that reason, but not being so attached to, I wonder if I'll stick with it. That's my take. So yeah, that was the end of the questions. I hope that was really enjoyable for you all to just kind of hear my take on some of those questions asked. Again, shout out to the Joy Edit for asking me all those questions, and for the other people who chimed in. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, y'all.